Today we'll start off with discussing about Amazon ads. I just want to give a introduction really today, as this is the first time I'm doing this with Sellery. I do want to kind of give some understanding and things to note right at the beginning. I'm sure everybody's on their own level of where they are, the knowledge they have with Amazon advertising. But I do believe that understanding fundamentally what's important right at the beginning and right out the gate is really makes the biggest of a difference with how we set ourselves up for success on Amazon advertisement. So I want to speak to intentionality, and I think we can tie that into placement as showing where we want to go with intentionally. Um, First things first is understanding our product, understanding what it is that we want to advertise and what it is that we're selling. And I know this is, ABCs, but it's really important to note, it's really important to understand that the more we know about the product that we are selling, the more we know of our products, the more we feel it, we understand it deeply, we understand the market, the better of a chance we have with being intentional when it comes to advertisement. It's fairly simple and easy nowadays to go on Amazon advertisement and just set yourself up with a couple of campaigns, do the best you can to, bid adjustments and budget adjustments, trying to do the best you can with maintaining a good ACOS, with maintaining a good return on investment when it comes to this ad spend. But it goes very deep. Amazon now provides a lot of data points, a lot of different things that we can know with customer intention and where it is that you're selling better or worse. And understanding why that is the case is important because it helps us set up for more manual and more in control about what it is that we want to achieve there. So it's all about intentions. For me, it's all about awareness, knowing what's going on, knowing what's happening, and driving your advertisement intentionally is very important. So when we understand our product well, we can understand where it is that we want to advertise and what is the type of customer that we want to have. Before we get into intentionality of advertisement, I do want to take a moment and recognize that I'm a big believer in when you set yourself up for Amazon advertisement, just like any other marketing that we want to do, it's really important to note what is a win. What is it that we want out of Amazon advertisement, right? When we set ourselves up for advertisement, is it spend under a certain amount? Is it acquisition? Is it acquisition at a certain amount? So it's very easy to say, I want to make the most money for the least amount of spend, of course. But I do believe that it goes deeper than that, and we do want to understand what is the long term that we want to achieve with this, right? So it's not just about getting that one sale today for the cheapest possible, but understanding that sometimes we have to invest in places that could yield a better result in the long term. So knowing what is the overall margins that you can work within, what is it that you want to dedicate in general, not just for your advertisement to come off looking good, but instead, what is it doing for your brand? What is it doing for your product? And where do we want to take this in the future is really important because we can sometimes see where we have the opportunity to press or spend on the right keywords, on the right search terms, but it's not yielding the result that we think we should be getting on an account level. And sometimes we're quick to make a decision on not spending over there because it's not yielding the right ACOS at the moment. But understanding what it's doing to your rank, understanding what it's doing to the opportunity on the front end for you to get up to the places that you need to be, or for an example, an acquisition as well. So it could just be the right places to spend, even though the ACOS is coming in greater. We do have the opportunity to drive products by looking at the metrics on Amazon. Um, so it's important to note what is happening to my product at all times, not just on the quick, I just spent $1 and I'm receiving back 4, and therefore I want to continue this. And as soon as that changes, I don't want any part of it, right? So when it comes to very relevant keywords, places where in the long term you want to show up for, in the long term you want to rank for, you might make different decisions today even though the metrics sometimes don't look the part. So this is why I say intentionality is very important and understanding what it is that you're receiving in return for the spend in these places is sometimes more important than trying to achieve a good ACOS. So when you're building a plan of advertisement and you're building a plan of advertisement on a product or a brand, it's super important to understand what it is that you want today, long term, and setting yourself up to match that, to achieve that, right? And not just get lost in today we're not doing so well. Let me go ahead and shut everything down because in the end of the day we're trying to achieve goals here and we want to do things that will match up to those goals, whether it's weekly, monthly, or long term, yearly, and so on and so forth. That being said, it's important to note when we create an a campaign, and we want to do something manual, and we want to show up in the places that we believe we should be showing up on, or should potentially have some rank over there. I do believe that we need to have the intention on keywords. So when we understand our product and we do things that we believe that the customer is looking for our product in those spaces, we have to answer metric versus the place that I'm advertising right now for. So in some cases, we would want to go broader where we know, okay, these terms don't match my product exactly. I'm a good option for the customer for what they're searching on, and therefore I can only afford a certain amount of cost per click and try and feed into my metrics being good, to try and feed into my ACOS being good, versus more intentional, more relevant terms that you are looking at and advertising on. Those places sometimes would make more sense for your ACOS to go up, or quote unquote your tackles, your total advertising cost of the sale to go up, because those are the places where people are generally looking for your exact product, and you're competing over there with other people who are selling your exact product or very similar to it. So understanding that the more intentional you become, more likely than not, the more costly it will become. But how important it is to the type of product that you have, that whether you want to do that or not. Do I want to go broader and less of a cost and kind of see where my metrics settle into and accept that, or be more intentional where sometimes we can see our cost per clicks rise, and but it's taking us in the right direction, right? So those are the type of things that we want to answer, and we want to answer often. We want to know, if I go on this keyword, if I spend on this keyword, what is the return on the advertisement, and what does it do for me in the long term, short term, on the front end as well? Okay. So that being said, when we're looking at a product, we want to understand the two different things before getting into keywords, before setting ourselves up with the intention. We want to understand the product uses, and we want to understand the product benefits, because there's just so many different directions that we can go in with keywords, when we're searching for keywords with search volume on them that people are searching for. We want to really understand every direction that we can take with our product advertisement to kind of find the best opportunity for us when it's going to come to setting these campaigns up. So testing is important. Understanding that we're going to take this in many different directions, set ourselves up for many different trial and errors, and kind of find the best place for opportunity where, when I push for advertisement in any of these areas, whether it's advertising for our uses, our benefits, um, where do we have the best results, and where do we have the best results for long term as well. So when we're discussing about uses, just as a quick example, right? So let's just assume you have a vacuum cleaner that you're advertising, right? So use cases would be something like, is it does it clean carpet? Does it clean the floors? Does it clean small areas, large areas, indoor, outdoor, with water, wet areas, right? So there's just an endless amount of uses that you can have with this product, which sets you up for very different keywords. So like search terms like vacuum cleaner for wet floors, vacuum cleaner for carpets, vacuum cleaner for outdoors, for indoors, right? So all of these are the use cases of the product versus things like benefits. Does your vacuum cleaner have Bluetooth? I don't know what could be some of the benefits. Wi-Fi. Is it electric? Is it battery? Right? And those things could be a plus, a benefit to some people. Are they looking for a battery vacuum cleaner? Or are they looking to plug their vacuum cleaner in? So when it could be a disadvantage to some, and it could be that we want to not focus on battery when you are electric, but it's a benefit for the people who are looking for electric, right? So Or if it's any other product, is it cheap? Does it come in bulk? Is it ingredients? So like you can speak to the ingredients that is in there, the color of the product. All of these things are benefits, right? So each of those things, when you find the list of benefits or the use cases of your product, each one of these use cases, each one of these benefits become a almost like an experiment for itself. And what we want to do is we want to find all relevant keywords that are for each of these use cases, for each of these benefits, and kind of dig in and explore within each category of benefit or each category of use cases and want to understand within that, do I have any chance of getting rank? Do I have any chance of maintaining a low A cost, maintaining a steady tacos by consistently advertising over there? And then we again, when the errors come back, when we see, okay, this benefit is not something that people are interested in my product, right? So like, uh, I have a successful vacuum cleaner that I'm selling, and I can see most of the keywords that we're advertising and getting good results on is for use cases. But although I'm electric, when I advertise on these keywords, for some reason, um, we're just not getting the result that we want, right? We're not ranking over there. We're not pushing up the rank when we're spending a lot over there. We're not getting the A cost we desire. Good. Then we know that that is not a place that we want to play in, and we want to go either we want to move on either to the next benefit or get back to the use cases, the places or areas that is working well for you, right? So trial and error, digging into all of the different use cases that you have, all of the different benefits that your product has, creating those campaigns that truly are meaningful to answer the question, does this use case help me when I advertise? Does this benefit help me when I advertise on it or not? Right? So if we are intentional with our campaigns, if we collect the keywords that speak purely to that use case, not just vacuum cleaner, vacuum, right, but speak to that longer tail keywords that still have some search volume on it, when you are advertising per use case and you bundle up those keywords together that speak specifically to a use case, and we create a campaign to answer that question. Does this use case, does this bundle of keywords that is dedicated for this use case, does it help me or does it not help me? And then with time, as you're spending on these keywords and you're directing spend over there and you're getting the results back, right? That's when we can say, oh, it helps me. Oh, it doesn't help me. And one of the things that I genuinely like about data and analyzing these things is that every answer, when you're running a test, every answer is a good answer, I believe. Because if it tells you that this use case is not beneficial to you, we can set ourselves, it's an opportunity to set ourselves up and test something else. So getting results back, whether it's good or bad, good is nice and it feels good that, oh, this use case is working out well for me, or speaking to this benefit and advertising to this benefit is actually bringing us a lot of sales. That's really good and nice. But the opposite of this is when you know to cross out and say, this isn't a space for me. This isn't a place where clients or customers are going to want to come and actually purchase my product. You know now what to stay away from. And there's just so many places to go, and kind of crossing out things down your list of trying to understand your product and where to advertise. The faster we cross off things, the more intentional we can be in the places that do work. So there is no good or bad when we are running tests and we're getting results back. There's only how many can I run with a limited amount of money, or within a certain capability of doing within a certain A cost limit, right? So we want to try and understand these things as quickly as possible and as many as possible, because the more good areas of spend we find by running these different tests, the better off we'll be long term and kind of feeding to what we're trying to do, which is ultimately sell the product well, show up in the places that you need to, and you're getting good results. Um, that being said, I think that there is an enormous amount of space that Amazon allows us to dig in and kind of get nitty gritty with the details about how we want to advertise, where we want to advertise. So just as we're speaking to intentionality of keywords, there's intentionality of campaign types, ad types. There's so many different ways of setting up a campaign, so many different opportunity and options. So when we're running these tests, we will also want to understand what does work for me, what doesn't work for me. So a good example would be maybe our sponsored product, when we are advertising on a certain benefit, isn't working for me. But when I advertise over there with a sponsor brand video, because we spent a lot of money and uh, created this video for our product is so nice and so good. Maybe our click-through rate, our conversion rate when it comes to advertising on this benefit or on this very specific use actually converts well for us, right? Actually does very well for us. So understanding that when we are running tests, it's not just about running one very specific type of campaign and saying, okay, I'm going to run a sponsored product with one ad type, and we're going to focus on this keyword, and after a week we spent a few $100s on it or $100 on it, whatever that amount is. This will chalk up to having the results and we'll be done with it. But we kind of want to round off and understand what are all the ways that we can advertise, what are all the ways that we can set ourselves up, and rather spend a little bit less and kind of spread yourself a bit thinner throughout and come together with all different or quite a few handful of campaign types and bring them together, focus on that area of usage, focus on that area of benefits for your product, and see as an overall result what helps for me. Split them up, split them apart. Say, okay, what about my sponsor brand video? What about my sponsor brand campaign? What about my sponsor product campaign? What about this keyword within this campaign? Maybe you can find a linear, maybe you can find something to say, yes, from this use case, this bundle of keywords, I didn't get the results that I want, but once I started going in and seeing the search terms that people are using, I can see that this one keyword actually does work for me. And I can see that across the line for my sponsor brand video, and sponsor product, that those keywords, that one keyword actually does work for me. Why is that the case? Can I dig in even more and further within that one keyword and kind of separate them out, pause out those campaigns, reset them with the keyword that is working for you, and continue that trial until you find the things that are working and make sense to you, why it is working, and how to continue spreading out from the things that do work, right? But the only way we're going to get these things is by trying these things out, by running these trials. So just like we're doing that with keywords and campaign type, there is as well as placement, understanding that it's important to understand that Amazon directly links how we perform on top of search with your rank. Okay, so looking at your search query performance, we can see data on a brand level or on an ASIN level, how you're performing relative to the market. You can see the market's conversion rate versus your product conversion rate. You can see your click-through rate on your product when it comes to a certain search term. And we can see this in the brand analytics on Seller Central. So you can download this report. You can see it live over there as well. You can see it on a brand level and a product level. And we wanna try and dig in and understand not just how much should I spend on this keyword or on that keyword, but when it comes to ranking and trying to drive your brand long term, sometimes it's important to take a few minutes and understand, how do I perform on these keywords? What does everybody else do? What is the expectation from Amazon for us to do in order to be considered a good product, right? So we're trying to go after these keywords, to go after these search terms and advertise on them. But what about long term? Does Amazon consider me a good product? Does Amazon not consider me a good product? So when it comes to top of search placement advertisement, and it comes to pushing harder and going after those keywords and showing up top of search, does it help you? Does it not help you? What happens at the time when you're up there versus when you're not up there? Do you get better results in return? And if you keep that up, does it actually do something for your product on the ranking of that search term? So you have a chance of dominating those search terms, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but in the long term. So intentionality is really the key for me to understand, what is it that I want? What is it that I want for my brand? What is it that I want for this product? What is it that I want out of my advertisement? And how can I set myself up in order to do so, in order to get the results that I want? What are the trials that I need to run to kind of complement what my need is for my brand overall? Um, I'll open it up to some questions if anybody has.